Well, good morning, everybody. It is October 31st. It's Halloween, so all the ghosts and goblins are going to be coming out tonight. And this is the last day of the month. And today's topic is going to be a new take a look topic called numbers. Now, this was a subject that I have spent a lot of time with and have a good understanding with. And so I want to record this as a tool. And in that tool will also be included a PDF so that you can print off the PDF and have all these numbers at your side when you need it for what you want to do. And so let's get underway here, and I'll turn on the PowerPoint and we'll get started. Okay, there we go. Numbers. Aha, everybody's favorite subject. I know. This is everybody's favorite subject. So this is take a look number 12, the numbers, how to view them, how to understand them, and how to use them. Now, Nikken is a business, and Nikken is a business that distributes lifestyle products through a network of independent distributors. Now, the more products that are consumed or that consumers buy, the more money the company earns. Therefore, the more products that an independent distributor moves and or from their organization, the more that distributor can earn. Pretty simple stuff. Therefore, when you understand how the business works, what structure best delivers what is needed, and what methods should be used to get the desired end result one is after, getting them is simply mapping this out and doing the required work. So as an analogy, if it took you 10 people to move furniture from your home to another home and you want to move, then you need to have 10 people. It's pretty simple, right? So business is all about producing a product or service that people want. And in that process, you cover expenses and make a profit. Now, in our business, we're no different in that we are focused on one area of the overall business we're all involved with, and that is the sales or distribution of the products being offered by the company. And we're also responsible for the recruitment of other distributors. And that too is a product of the company. Now, as a general rule, all businesses set goals and target production and productivity in order to reach the goals. And this is also true for us as independent distributors. So the business works in specific ways. It even has its own technology on how it works and the specific structure it utilizes. And if this technology is not applied, then it makes it a little bit more difficult to make it work. Today, we're going to explore one aspect of building your business by understanding the numbers of our business, what they are, how to understand them, and then, of course, how to use them. Now, knowing what you want is very important. It's probably the first thing that would apply to this business. So let's use time freedom as something you want. What has to be understood here is, what does that mean? It needs a definition. Does it mean work less, or does it take more days off, or the ability to do what you want to do when you want? You have to define that. In today's world, this means that either your job needs to pay you so that you have the time freedom that you want, or you need to do something that will create that for yourself. So what then is the actual economic requirements? And let's get real here, as this is going to get you to confront what you actually need to do for yourself. And a helpful hint: look at your monthly budget, relate that to your current income, and then look at what you want. And this should give you some kind of a number. Anyway, numbers. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 512, 4,096. I mean, numbers, okay? So if you look at this in the sense of what these are, they're pretty random, but if you look at it in a sequence, 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, it grows. 8 billion, 3 million, 4 billion, 81 million. Boy, those are big numbers. Well, 4 billion was the population on planet Earth in 1959. And it grew over the next 40 years to our current population of 8 billion in 2022. So it doubled. I want you to get this concept. It doubled in that period of time, 40 years. Now, the current growth rate is 81 million per year. And it will take an additional 40 years to double again to 16 billion people on planet Earth. So from our perspective and our business, we have plenty of people to talk to, and that's the important thing to know. But it's the concept of doubling over time when two people get together. Okay, so let's look at these numbers. 2, 6, 6, 12, 12, 24, 24, 55, 55, 115. You think we were playing football or something. But again, if we understand these numbers in a different way, we get a sequence. Find 2 key partners that want to do what you do, and you have 2. Help them get 2 people each, you have 6. With that group of 6, go get another 6, is 12. With that group of 12, go get another 12, which is 24, 55, 115. You see how it doubles and it grows over time. Someone finds 2, then helps them each repeat the process. Now, again, I'm looking at 2, which is a simple number. I could have used 3, I could have used 6. You can use any number you want, but it's the concept and the idea that you want to get familiar with. So you find 2 and help those 2 get 2 each. So we're all doing the same thing, 2 get 2, 2 get 2, 2 get 2. And look what happens when you repeat this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And then you could figure out what would happen if you did it 7 times. Everybody doing the same thing. Okay. 2 get 2, get 2, get 2. So here you are. You get 1. Okay. You get 2. Here's a bunch of numbers: 120, 20, 24, 60, 15, 9, 33. Ha! We're playing football again. A bunch of numbers. They're all important. They all mean something, and they're all part of your daily business. But let's organize them so that you see what they are. So the value of a customer with a 10% rebate. Okay, who gets a 10% rebate? Well, an executive gets a 10% rebate. Or, again, we'll see all the differences here. Now, I'm going to review this very quickly. You're going to be able to see this yourself in a PDF so you can review it over time. At the end of this, we're going to see a summary of what this means. But if we look at an example of a $120 sale, retail, there's a 20% commission. If we look at the rebate, all right, the rebate's based on the CV. So for evaluation purposes, for my evaluation of the compensation plan, the price list, and all our products, the CV on retail is about 50 points. So if you had a $100 retail, the CV is 50% of that. If you have a wholesale value, it's 65% of the wholesale price. And we're going to get into those different numbers. Okay. So the CV here is 50. So that's 60 CV. You'd earn a 10% commission rebate. So your total rebate is $30. Well, let's take a look at this over time. If you had 50 customers at that rate, you'd be making $1,500 a month or $18,000 annually. If you had 100 customers at that, you'd have $3,000 in monthly income and $30,000 annually. The volume connected that would be between 72,000 and 144,000, which would then make you eligible for incentives that are available, trips, et cetera, just on that, doing that retail. So there's a schematic on the retail side of a customer. Now, the value of a customer with a 20% rebate. Now, who gets the 20% rebate? Well, a fully qualified silver would get the rebate, right? And so if we look at this, or if we look at that CV, 20% CV, an executive would also he'd get 10%, and then of course the silver above would get the other 10%. But anyway, CV is 50%, same thing at 20%. Again, you've now got a total of $36 for that sale. And if we looked at that over the course of a year, that's 432. However, if we had 50 customers, again, we have a different view. We have 1,800 monthly or 21,000 annually. And if we had 100 customers, we have 3,600 monthly or 43,000 annually. And again, the volume is 72,000 or 144,000. Again, one could easily qualify for the trips. Okay. So here's the value of a retail customer. Now, the retail amount, 120, 240, 480, whatever it is, if you're an executive, you earn 25% of the retail. If you're a leader, you earn 30%, and that's including the rebate that you would get. So if you want to earn $1,500 per month, then as a leader, then the formula would be 1,500 divided by 30%, or you'd have to have 5,000 in retail sales volume. So how many customers will this take? That's what you have to figure out. See, there's the numbers. Oh, new group of numbers here: 1,500, 20, 300, 750, 10, 75. So this is the value of a direct with retail sales. Same kind of concept. The direct produces 1,500 retail points. And again, their commission rate's 20%. So they're going to make $300. And they're going to earn that incentive, the 150 Nikken bucks. Okay, pretty simple stuff. So if they were sponsored by an executive, okay, the executive earns the override, which is 10% of the CV. So again, 10% of that CV would be 75 bucks. And then if they were sponsored by a silver, they would earn 15%, or 20% if that silver does their personal points and PGPV qualification. So that could be anywhere from 112 to 150. Okay, there's the formula. There's where you'll come back and review that. We'll summarize this as we move forward. So here's the retail distributor value. And you can see here in the column of red, that's the one that you want to look at. Okay, move forward. How about a wholesale? Now, we have people that sell this product wholesale. So they sign up a distributor, the distributor buys it wholesale, then they take that product, they may personal consumption, or they may sell that outside, whatever the case may be. So the CV on wholesale is a little bit different than the CV on retail. And it's the same product, it's the same CV, but it's the valuation that's included. So 1,500 wholesale represents CV of about 65%. So if you bought it at wholesale prices, your CV calculation is about 65%. If you sold a sleep system, it's at 80%. If some products are going to be 60%, but I figured out the average at about 65%. So in this example, on 1,500 retail, the CV is about 975. So you earn 10%. Again, down below, you earn either 15% or 20%. Based on your position, what you are. And if you have a leader underneath you that's doing this, then you earn these amounts. We'll see what this means down the road. Okay. So again, here's the summary. If you sponsor and have a direct distributor that's dealing with wholesale prices, now here it's interesting, you make 13% overall of the retail price if they're buying it at a wholesale price. Again, you'll look at this slide, you'll come back, you'll review it so you understand it, spend some time with it. Understand I've been doing this for years, so it's pretty straightforward, but it takes a little bit of going over it to fully get it. But the formula is all there. Then the next person is the executive. Well, the executive and the distributor are pretty much the same. The only difference is the executive's earning 10%, so the silver over above that's getting the rest. We'll see what that turns out. So here we've got a silver that's making 15%. And the silver that makes 15% is a silver that's not doing their full qualification. So if you're silver and you're doing your full qualifications, you earn the 20%. And that's your PG, your PV, and your PPGV requirements to be fully qualified and earn the 20%. Okay. The value of an executive with wholesale volume, similar situation. And again, here's the summary. You can earn up to 13% on that particular person. And that's all the way up to the 6,000 total when they become a a silver distributor. But again, here's the formula. This is what you do. Then you could figure out what you needed. More numbers: 6,000, 3,000, 15, 1,500, 750. Okay, football hike. So the value of a qualifying silver or gold in numbers. So now you've heard and you've watched and you've seen videos that I produced that, you know, it was just very simple. How much do you want to make? You want to make 5,000. Well, divide that by 6%. That gives you a value, and then you move forward. So here's the actual specifics so that you get to see the value of what you're doing. So for example, we know that a silver and a gold have to do 100 ppv and a total of 1,500 pgpv. That 100 can be included in the pgpv. So on the left-hand side, you see the 100, 1,400, the total is 1,500. And here's the values. So if you have a qualifying silver and they're doing on wholesale retail, you're going to make 45.90. If you have a qualifying leader underneath you and they do wholesale, which means they do the 100 ppv is wholesale and their 1,400 is also wholesale, you make 58.50. Okay. But here's the important thing. Let's look at the larger picture, because this is what I had to do when I first started, was look at the big picture first and then come back and see what I needed to make. So here we have a total of 50. So if you had 50 leaders in your group, in your structure, in your organization, and they all needed to qualify and they did their 45.90, you're going to make $2,295 a month. You're going to make $27,540 in a course of a year. In 10 years, you're going to make $275,000. And in a 30-year period like me, you're going to make $826,200. Now, what I found fascinating about looking at that was, whoa, look at the value of 50 of those guys at $45 a month. What's that worth? Is it worth it to put that together to get them producing for your rest of your life? I would say so. Now let's look at 100. This is even more fascinating. So you got 100 at $45.90. You got, that's $4,590 a month. And this is residual income. This is like royalty income. This is going to come in, you know, because these guys need to qualify. That's $55,000 a year. In a 10-year period of time, that's $550,000. In a 30-year period of time, that's $1,652,400. Now, let me ask you this question. To produce that, would that be worth it? I think so. Now, if we move up to the next and look at the wholesale aspect, 50 would generate $29.25 a month, $35,000 a year, $351,000 in 10 years, $1,053,000 in 30. And at 100, you'd have $58.50 a month, $70,000 a year, $702,000 in 10 years, and $2,106,000 after 30. So you can play with this. You could look at various parts, you know, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, but that's the reality of what we have. So the value of a qualifying leader is, you know, it's spelled out here. This is just the sample, and it's based on making 6%. So you can come back and utilize this for your planning. But let's move forward. So to summarize these, there are 3 areas as to your potential earnings as a leader and generating volume. Now, I'm putting this here for 2 purposes. 1, for you to get and understand, but 2, for you to share and show somebody else how this can be a solution to their problem, which is a big part of what we do, right? Part of our responsibility is finding other distributors. And the reason why people do this is they see this as a solution to what they want to do. So a customer is worth 30% of the retail price to you. So again, you can figure out how many customers that you're going to do. I'm going to give you an example moving forward. A wholesale distributor is worth anywhere from 10 to 13%. And that's being either a direct or an executive. And then leaders, you earn 3.6% of the retail to 3.9% of the wholesale. And again, let's take a look at the requirements of leaders. So silver is, 6,000 to get there, but 100 and 1,500 and 4,000 OV to be fully qualified. But here's where it gets really interesting. A gold, 100, 1,500 and 15,000. A platinum, 100, 1,000, 30,000. A diamond, 100, 1,000, 100,000. And of course, a royal diamond is 100, 1,000 and 300,000 are the qualifying requirements. Now, here's what you have to look at. For those people to be qualified and to have those requirements means that they've got a large organization underneath them. That's the whole concept, okay? We'll see how this comes together as we move forward here. So let's use the numbers for planning followed by the strategy. So you want to earn $8,000 per month as an example. That's the goal. Now, what area is going to deliver this? And do you want to recreate it once you've made it, or do you want it to be ongoing residual, a royalty type income? And I think for the most of us, we want it to be ongoing. We want to do it and then have it be done on an automatic basis. And that's the tech. That's the technology of this structure, is you can get it to a point where it's automatically going to regenerate. Now, and do you want it to grow from that 8,000? I think so. And what kind of time frame should be looked at is another important issue. And what's going to be the strategy to get this done? Is it going to be retail? Is it going to be retail and wholesale? Is it going to be wholesale? Is it going to be developing leader? I mean, you've got to have that strategy. And again, as a business, you've got to target the production to be done. It just doesn't happen on its own. It's got to be, created. It's got to be planned, et cetera, et cetera. So let's look at some numbers to resolve this. So if we start with customers and take a look at a realistic expectation of developing customers, 2 per month for a total of 300 OV, 50% CV generates $90 income. Okay. It doesn't look like a lot of money at first, but let's say that you did this and then you added 2 customers a month. Over the course of a year, and again, that's a relatively short period of time in today's world, at 2 customers a month, you're going to end up with a monthly income of $1,080. Now, if these were on subscription, again, this is residual, and then you have to think about that and strategize. If you want more, then what will you do? You just plan to do more. That's it. I mean, what we do is simple. It's just planning and strategizing. Okay, if we add directs and executives, then take a look at a real expectation of developing them. They generate volume anywhere from $0 to $6,000, because that's the limitation to go to silver, and you earn anywhere from 10 to 13% of the retail value of that. So if you sponsored 1 per month, and then so did each one of them, here's what this might look like after 7 months. So 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 8 is 16. 16 plus 16 is, see, again, we looked at this at the very beginning. This is how the business operates and works, and especially if you direct the traffic and if you plan and if you strategize, it will double. And what I observed in my career, it just kept doubling and doubling and doubling and doubling in the early stages. As it got huge, it stopped doubling because the volume slipped away. But that's another topic. Okay. So what I learned was that it was the leadership bonus that would get the job done long-term. And it was getting customers and sponsoring new distributors that got things started. And with the leadership program, then 8,000 divided by the 6% pay rate means 133,000 in CV is required. Okay, so let's look at this, because again, sometimes people look at this and say, wow, that's a lot of volume. However, if we look at a silver, what does a silver do? Okay, they will produce anywhere from 4,000 to 10,000, and they will generate anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 in CV. Okay, so how many of those would you need to do this 133,000? You'll figure it out. You just do the math. It's like 133,000 divided by 5,000 will give you the answer. How about a gold? Now a gold has to do 15,000, which generates 7,500 CV, but they do it in a range from 15 to 30. Why? Because 30 then goes to platinum. So the gold is moving towards platinum. And that's the objective. They're moving towards that if they're directed to do so, if it's planned, if it's strategized. But when we look at this, then there's 7,500 to 15,000 in CV towards this total goal. Platinum would do 30, and then you know what the rest of them do. So what do you need to do for your $133,000? So if we look at that, now we have a plan and a strategy to reach the $8,000. So in my estimations, just looking at these numbers, looks like about 30 leaders. So there we go. So what do? You go out and you find one person to join you, and you have two. Now you have two of you, and you go out and find one each or help that person get two, whatever. Now you grow to four. So what happened there? Two got to four. How did they get to four? Because you worked at it. You went and looked for them. Now the four are taught the same thing to do. Go get one each. What happens? That grows to 8, 8 goes to 16, 16 goes to 32, and away you go. And that's how the business works, and those are the numbers behind the business. So if we looked at a 2,000 OV, 1,000 CV model, here you are. You sponsor people, you sell product, you generate 2,000 in OV, and you have 1,000 in CV, and then you duplicate that process. So the object then is to find your key partners, and then start creating your retail base, and then build your 2 distributors to silver and beyond, and eventually create their need to qualify. And that's the key, their need to qualify. And that's going to happen if there's volume underneath them. That's the tech. That's part of the tech of this, how this structure works. And the key to this, again, this is really the key. And you can look at it from this chart. When you see 1 and 2, you get excited. But 1 and 2 have nothing underneath them at this particular picture. So they're not as excited as you are. But once you go to the, I think it's the next slide, there we go. 1 and 2 are going to be excited if they have this down here, aren't they? That's how it works. So the idea is then to help your 1 and 2 sponsor their 2 and build their team. Now, I would start with just 1, get that going, and then go to 2, but eventually you will have the 2. And of course, there are so many different ways to go. So now you can plan and strategize how to get what you want, or how to help somebody else get what they want, by understanding the numbers and what relates to what you want. In other words, which way do you go? Retail, wholesale, distributors, leadership. And of course, you know my story, and my monthly budget was $8,000. So I needed to understand, what the heck did this mean in terms of what Nikken would pay me? And what part of their plan do I need to focus on, was the idea that was at hand there. The work that we do is not hard. I mean, we saw there's no shortage of people as we see how this population is growing. And of course, the key is the help and support aspect. So when we develop an organization underneath, we gain help and support. With nothing underneath, there's no help and support. When people have an objective to reach, that's help and support. If people don't have an objective to reach, there's no help and support, because it's their work that helps to create your work. So the business works when someone buys a product, or when someone sells a product that somebody buys. That's it. Simple, simple. Well, there you go, guys. Thanks very much for being on today. Again, this will be posted on, and is posted on daverolf.com, and the PDF follows right below it. And you can review this and go over it. And as usual, if there's anything that you don't understand, contact me and we'll clear it up. But don't go on if you don't understand something, because that's not very good. So I'm going to stop the share, and there we go. And then I'm going to end the presentation, and then we'll get into the Q&A. Bye for now. See you next time.